Good afternoon, and outside of my house, there is a storm a brewing, and I think there is a storm brewing here as we go into tomorrow with some potentially big data that we're going to touch on at the beginning of this video. We're going to touch on one topic here of this structure that a lot of people are drawing up, and we're going to be talking about this type of wedge. But the big thing today, you might have seen an uh-oh on the thumbnail because tomorrow might have an uh-oh for us, meaning that you don't want to be on the wrong side of a trade tomorrow because of the implied volatility. And we're going to get into all of that. We're going to get you daily expected moves, and Patreon members be looking for those daily expected moves for all the stocks on the right side of your screen after this video. But other than that, we need to get into some things today. So let's get into it as we do see those looming signals to the downside. Let's see if we're able to resolve this by looking at the shorter time frames. Very, very quickly, very briefly, a lot of people bringing up this wedge, a lot of people bringing up this kind of wedge, and you'll notice that as the wedge goes like this, we violate the wedge, they move it over. It doesn't matter. Price is getting tight here is the main thing that is going on. A lot of the times, wedges, you can say a certain percentage of time, they do play out to the downside. But does that actually lead to a full reversal? That's going to be an interesting thing because I want to show you something. A lot of people comparing this to early 2025 of last year before we saw that major disruption. But I want to show you this wedge right here that happened in early, right before 2025, going into the ending stages of 2024. We actually saw a wedge that was fairly similar in some ways, formed here, it actually broke to the downside. And a lot of people would say we are going to get some kind of continuation down here. So what am I getting at with the beginning of this video? If you are seeing people draw up this wedge, you've heard me say that I don't necessarily put a lot of weight into patterns. I look at patterns to give me areas to pay attention to, and then I utilize weekly and monthly expected moves are going to be a lot better. And then I do my homework around those areas, right? So really shaping up to a pattern, seeing that price action is getting tight is overall what these things suggest to look for. Look for a big move. So the fact that we are in some kind of structure that is getting tight means a big move is coming. And a lot of people would say most of the time, the probability is that you're going to play out to the downside. But the important part is you can look at the shorter time frames and see how things are shaping up to see what is actually the most probable, not just going off of I see a wedge like this, so I ignore all of the bars in here and just say that it's going to go down. No, I look at the bars in here, I see a break, and then I look what goes on in this area to see if it's a fake out or if it's going to continue to the downside. So I just wanted to point that out. Patterns are a great thing, but overall, this is going to be very similar to like a Bollinger Band. All you're seeing is price action getting tight, and you are looking for a break in a certain direction. So I wanted to point that out for a lot of people who are early on, who are watching videos of people just suggesting that every wedge has to be a stock market crash. You can see that just blatantly by looking back towards that early 2025, the late stages of 2024, we had a wedge just like this one. We broke the upside, right? We look like we were going to curl down. We go up a little bit further. We bend down to just retest some key levels. People call it a break of the wedge. And then we continue to go to the upside afterwards and then form something that's very similar to now. So could we be at that stage? I don't know. I'm going to look at what's going on with the market tomorrow. Now, why would tomorrow be a big deal? Well, because we still are holding those divergence signals. We actually went up to that weekly expected move, and we suggested that is where we are very likely to pull back. That's why in yesterday's video, we were overall discussing the 30-minute chart. We were discussing the 30-minute chart, how this could go a little bit higher so the Qs get to their move, and then pulling back from that area will happen more often than not, especially after a little bit of a squeeze. So we see that we're pulling back. Where do we pull back into? The 5-day moving average. Now we do have some critical things going on for tomorrow, so we need to bring that stuff up. We see that Friday, January 9th, okay? January 9th, we will get some, housing data, but the big deal here is going to be non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate. Now, I like to say that data can be used to make whatever move they want to happen because at 9 a.m. we will get Michigan consumer sentiment. And there's potential Trump news or something like that coming out tomorrow as well. So there are a lot of rocks in the stream tomorrow. So this tells you a few things. One, is tomorrow going to potentially be more volatile? Or if I get a trade wrong on direction, is it going to most likely hurt me? The answer to that would be potentially yes, because you could get a gap up tomorrow, you could get a gap and crap tomorrow, you can get higher volatility. How do we know that there could be a little bit more volatility tomorrow than their say was for the entire week? Well, because the average percentage of implied volatility was about 9% for the SPY all week long. Every single daily expected move was sitting at about 9%. Now, as we get into tomorrow, we see a huge range. So the implied volatility for the SPY for tomorrow has increased to about 17%. That tells us something. That tells us that there's a lot more bigger swings coming in. This is why we actually talked about the wedge pattern in the beginning. We can see a break of that in a certain direction tomorrow. And the way that we're going to really read into this as of right now is looking at the 30-minute chart by that center line. Have we gotten a good confirmation just yet? No, we haven't. But if we're able to get that good confirmation, we can now utilize our daily expected moves. 695.66 to the upside, and we see 683.36 to the downside. If we do, remember how we said this? If you're going to end outside of the weekly expected move and you get there very early on, usually you will pull back and then kind of break through on Friday and maybe even continue that move on Monday before you get the next pullback, okay? That was mentioned a couple videos ago as we were talking about the resistance that is very, very likely at the weekly expected move. But the 30-minute is by that center line. So if that's able to curl up into positive territory tomorrow, you would be looking for potentially 695.66 by the end of the day. So this would be a simple 30-minute swing trade. As we look at the 2-hour chart, we see that that has crossed down. Now we are still above the 5-day moving average, but if the 2-hour still needed to, yes, I'm going to say pull back at this point. We're going to talk about the bearish signals here in a moment and talk about how to really read into those. But for now, here's the thing. Before we take out this low, we got to talk about bullish things. So this means if the 2-hour is still by that center line and curls up into positive territory at any point, that's the opportunity to violate a lot of these divergences going on. You still have great buyers in this area. If it wanted to pull back down into that daily expected move, you would potentially take care of a gap. You can come into that 683.36. Look for potential 30-minute signals going into the next couple of trading sessions. But if that curls to the upside, you are looking like a beam to 700 from there. So we're going to go over how does this overall tell us that it's going to go bearish. Well, what we would look for is the filling of that gap and the failure of the 2-hour in this area, right? We can take a trade here, have a plan for if it goes wrong, and if that rolls, we don't necessarily want to be in that. But the best way, according to structure, according to price action, for the market to tell you that it wants to head in that downward direction, aka we're not going to head to the upward monthly expected move for January, but instead we're going to head to the lower one, would be if we see a major disruption tomorrow, we actually get some kind of bounce that then rolls off of that 5-day moving average and fails, and we head to the downside going into the end of January. So the bearish case here is a serious roll. We would like to get the good hint of the price action. We're going to see how the market proves itself, but the big deal about tomorrow is, you really want to make sure to see those moments where implied volatility does increase, those moments where the price action gets tight. That's why we actually shut off the wedge. And we can see a big break up or down, but you can also see big swings in both directions for a little bit throughout the day because you get data before the market open, but you also get Michigan consumer sentiment a little bit after, and you potentially have Trump talking about some things tomorrow as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a risky day. That means that for me, if I'm not seeing things clearly and I'm about to have my baby girl, I potentially will not be taking a trade, and I will be looking for the easier opportunity in the near future. Once again, something with massive, massive implied volatility is going to be the Qs. I actually want to look at it for you real quick. I think the SPY was 17, about 17%. The Qs, 21% implied volatility going into tomorrow, 627.30 to the upside. We have 613.64 to the downside. We're on the 2-hour chart where everyone really looking for, hey, is the daily going to crash down here? Very good thing to pay attention to. But according to price action, you just made the new high. So in the current trend, you were about to make a downtrend, but then that stopped and gave you the higher low. So now you actually have a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. So if we don't start to make new lows and then roll that to give you the high and the lower high and the low and the lower low. You're in an upward trend is what I'm getting at here. So even though this can look like a lot of lower this, lower that, and a lot of people calling crash, I highly suggest you go look at last weekend's video because we were discussing the difference between early last year and the look we have right now. They look exactly the same if you look at daily charts and below, but they look completely different when you pull up that weekly chart, and it will give you a better outlook of what to look for in 2026. So this is not a great signal though, right? We have divergences, they have confirmed, but it's important to know that we have not made the new low. So even if I did, it's perfectly fine to be like, okay, I'm going to take a divergence play here. But if the 30 minutes able to curl up, that is the violation of the play. This is how we actively manage trades in the full technical analysis course. That's why it's $100. That's why it's 90% off for the last time ever, is so that you can get little things like this. Maybe you're really good at weekly expected moves. Maybe you're really good at this, but you hold on to losers too long, or you don't hold on to those winners, or you don't have a plan for if things really go wrong. Well, I'm going to give you a plan for if this goes wrong if you took some kind of divergence play here. Even though this is very, very flat on your RSI, you potentially could take a divergence play here. I'm not going to argue about it. I'm just going to take it in stride. If I took a play here, we're going to give you a blip and kind of give you a little sneak peek into that course. If the 30-minute is able to cross up, that is the violation of this 2-hour signal. That means if the 30-minute is curling to the upside, then how is the chart going to go down and make me money, right? It's a very, very simple concept. So if the 30-minute is near the center line, if the 30-minute is curling up, even if the 2 hours curled down, that would be a potential management for the trade. So has this overall confirmed yet? No. Now, you could consider yourself, if you're really, really risky or not risky, there's different ways, right? I put out that information. I put out the course information, and you can use it at your own will. You're the one who pushes the buttons. But some people would say, hey, I'm out because I got a green confirmation here above the 9 on the 30-minute off of the 5-day moving average. They could say, even though the MACD didn't cross up yet, I'm not willing to hold on to that risk because I see that implied volatility is seriously increasing. That's perfectly fine. Other people might say, hey, this 30-minute MACD hasn't curled up. I know the RSI has. I know the price action has, but we're likely to just turn right back down in the morning with some data. That's perfectly fine. But the point of this part is to say, have a plan for if it goes wrong, right? The reason that we have that in the course is because we overall talked about it as how to not get screwed. A big, big part of trading is not only making money, being profitable on trades, but also minimizing your money you give back to the market when you're wrong, okay? And nobody's perfect. You're not going to be a 100% trader. So if you see a great signal, right, and you take it and that goes wrong and you don't react, you can see a big roll and lose 100% of the money at that point. But if you react in these type of areas, you might lose like 5% of the money at that point. So that's why that portion is in there. I wanted to put that out towards this portion of the video because implied volatility for tomorrow is so high. I wanted to discuss making sure that as a trader, you don't think that anything in the market is 100%. Even if the trading setup, even if the setup I am viewing is the golden setup, something else we talk about, even if that is there and I'm ready to risk that money and I'm very, very confident and I'm monitoring it closely, I'm doing just that, monitoring it closely. Why? In case my plan for if it goes wrong says, hey, this is going wrong. Do not give the market makers your money. Do not give the rich people more of your money. They have enough. Manage that trade. Look for the next setup. So I just wanted to go over that for a minute here. But we would say what, according to this chart, if the 30-minute curls up, it can go into positive territory. We would look for lower highs still because we are slightly negative. So we'll be aware of that. But as it stands, we do see that week or that daily expected move of 627.30. So if the 30 minutes able to cross up here, you could get all the way up to that 627.30. And if you break through and make a new high, you would see enough bullishness to say a higher low can come or squeezes on the table as you break out. The 2-hour chart here, if we're going to continue to the downside, the main thing to watch for is, do we resolve things before making a new low? That will be a big deal because if you make a new low here, then you're saying, okay, we've made a new low. We have a low and a lower low. So if we make a lower high, then this market will continue to roll and we're actually going to head down in January. So now you know a little bit of both sides. Right now, the bulls are in control, just so you are aware. But even though the bulls are in control, someone out there is a little scared of this market. Now, is this retail? Is this, you never can really know, honestly. You really can't know. But you can know this. Someone is holding volatility right now. Someone is, I would say, hedging based on the price action, the reading action, I guess, if you will, of volatility right now. You would say the 2 hour is pretty positive here. So maybe we do have some kind of upside move with a little bit more disruption. Maybe we need to see a 2 hour divergence, a 2 hour lower high to really say like, yeah, we're going to go up to 700 by OpEx. That would be something to be talked about and proven by the market. Because the 2 hour chart has made this move, it's going to be difficult to say, oh yeah, this is just pushing to the downside. Originally, we were saying, if this can roll down here, then we would want that to roll and continue to keep rolling here. But since that was able to confirm up, I said, if that's confirmed up, I don't want to be in calls to the upside, especially at the weekly expected move. That was the topic of yesterday's video. Why would I not want to be a part of this? Well, the daily's getting closer and closer to trying to get to that center line, even though I think what's going to take place here is we can keep seeing disruption if we'd like. We can keep seeing pullbacks if we'd like. But eventually, I think we're going to tag that 1212 before we actually see the top in this market. That's my overall thing that I'm looking for. But I'm also looking for the higher low scenario as well. But for the 30-minute chart, I think the 30-minute chart is what's really interesting here. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. That's all you could say, because the 30-minute is remaining by that center line. You can't take volatility out of the equation. You can't say that a little bit of data can't cross this to the upside. We pop to the upside. Now, what I would be very much so looking for early on tomorrow is, do you see a 30-minute divergence, or does this break down and you see a 30-minute lower high? A very confident 30-minute lower high would be nice here. A confident 30-minute divergence would give you a great hint that we actually want to head up in this market. So the overall topic for this video was what? We could run into an uh-oh tomorrow, especially if you're wrong, because implied volatility has increased. You have major pieces of data. You have potentially Trump coming out with things. You're tightened up in some sort of wedge right now. That can play out with a squeeze to the upside, but could lead to some kind of drop. So it's not the best time to really be making those major decisions, right? So what I want to be very, very clear about, and very much so watching here, is, do I see some good price action tomorrow that actually gives me an opportunity, or do I just see a crazy volatile day that some day traders can capitalize on? That's the difference there. But if the 30-minute is able to curl up, we should head to that daily expected move. Watch out for resistance still at the weekly. If the 2 hour is going to continue to that downside, though, and that data is going to be bad, well, then we would look for that 683.36 to the downside, which, if we're able to resolve things here, is still going to be considered what? A higher low. So we're still going to do our homework here. In order to see the bearish case, what have we been saying? You need to see the 2 hour roll. You need to lose the 5-day, even without breaking the low, but you would prefer to break the low, then roll to really get that bearish hint. But if you lose the 5-day and then you roll like this move fails instead of turning to the upside. Having that plan for if you're wrong in here is going to be very important. I hope that this video was really, really helpful. I'm getting busier and busier and busier every single day as baby gets closer, every single day as my wife has to be off her feet. So I really do appreciate you guys watching these videos. I just hope that they end up being helpful for you. And I hope maybe some critical levels for tomorrow can help you out. But it still looks like the bulls are in control. So I'd be watching out for that 695.66 unless data throws a wrench in all of it. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Check out the course down in the description if you're interested. Peace out.